Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld. And the end of the week has come, so it's time to try to rip our throats out by talking too much. Or what I call a Saturday. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll start this week's manga chapters off by going to a series that's actually been, I don't want to say on hiatus, but there's been a bit of a stop on the translations, and that will, of course, be Shy. Now, I do remember reading that the team was gonna stop translating, or there's gonna be like no one's gonna be translating it for a bit, but that was supposed to have been come after volume 13, but it's happened sooner, so it was kind of weird out a bit, but it seems that now they are back, so I'm not entirely certain means that after they translate volume 13, they're just gonna stop again, but regardless, right now we have a few chapters that have been released, so we'll fortunately be able to talk about them, which are chapters 124 and A Carnival of Flame and Shrimp, and chapter 125 titled Polar Body Emission, which seems more like a next chapter title, but whatever. If you call it Polar Body Emission, then it's Polar Body Emission. So we start this chapter off with picking up from the last chapter, which if you remember, Shai showed up, saved the kid, and all that. So in this chapter, we have Shai, after the kid finally regains consciousness, Shai greeting the kid and saying that they're kind of in a pursuit right now. She's going down the waterfall, running away from the bots that were trying to, get the kid to the incubator center. As then Shai wants to go fight them, but then Shrimp says that he'll handle it. As Shrimp goes and takes these robots out, which surprises Shai a bit because he's tiny in comparison. But Shrimp tells her that he was Unilord's bodyguard previously, so him having some level of combat experience, at least enough to handle the small father enemies, makes sense. And it's not like it's insane because we also have like another like giant, I think some giant like lizard creature showing up attacking, and he said that's too big for him to handle, which again makes me kind of wonder how effective a bodyguard is he with the fact that something that's just a larger enemy, pretty much the same enemy, just larger, and maybe he has a bit more mobility, not even insane mobility, just like average mobility, is gonna be enough for him to be like, oh no, I cannot handle, but maybe that's just supposed to suggest that no, Unilord has no combat prowess, or she needs other people. Like again, Unilord's kind of a weird character when it comes to like scaling, because you kind of want to say she has some kind of aces up her sleeve, but it seems very likely that she doesn't have any aces up her sleeve. But yeah. Anyways, then as Shy and Shrimpy and the child are escaping the scenery, and the reports start about the hero and emergency because Amela works against the heroes. We cut to Nirvana in a coffee place. I'm not entirely sure what these places are called. Where you get like pancakes and all that. I think they're supposed to be those like when you have like those tourist places where there's like a long road and they have like those those restaurants or those places set up there so people would take a break during their drive and go and sit there. It kind of looks like that kind of place. But guys, Nirvana is there and he kind of flashes back to when he and Shai split up. As Nirvana tells her that they need to keep their head down, even if a kid is down, they should show up and make their presence. As Shy Amelia apologizes to him and says that she will not be able to, with this little bit of a joke, like, don't be joking, this is serious. And Shy tells him that no, she'll not be able to stay still and not come and help, being a true hero like Izuku. Which does make me kind of wish we'll get Shy and My Academia crossover at some point. Like, they really should, because I feel like a lot of these characters could kind of work really well with one another. Just saying. I would honestly not mind if Shy and My Academia could like try to get crossover something together. But regardless of that, we have Nirvana just accepting that because she's grown, so it makes sense that she would be against that, or that she would want to jump in. been to save the day, so he then tells her, alright, if you are already telling me that you're not going to be able to stop yourself, then you're going to have a harder task. Which is that she's going to have to now take all of the attention on herself. Like, she's going to have to stand out, so all of the Ameriraks will try to attack her and target her specifically because they know where she is and all that stuff. So he thinks that she'll have to do that, and again, it's a kind of a showing like how much she has progressed. Like she was a really shy character, like her name is literally Shy for crying out loud, but now she's able to be the main target of attention. So yeah, as as then we have some old timer, like some I want to say 50s, 60s kind of guy with an iPad showing up there, and he's like, "Hey, brother, kind of a child of space is this, huh?" As Nirvana is kind of like he's kind of concerned, but he doesn't like do anything. He's kind of like, "Oh, hello, sir. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting place." As the old guy's eating some pie, and he's kind of like complaining about stuff about the place. How it's very childish, and there's like really nothing to incite them on, very interesting. I mean, he kind of feels like there's Nirvana. I mean, he doesn't know there's Nirvana. He just thinks some random dumb adult that's like sitting here and drinking coffee and eating pie, pie and that stuff. Uh, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of annoying childish place. And Nirvana's in like, I mean, this is a wonderland, so it's like a bit of a weird thing. I'm guessing Nirvana's trying to get like another kind of general idea of the place around him. As this old guy is like, nah, this is no one. He doesn't have anything of the Peter Pan story. It's I'm just curious on where all the adults are at, since there's nothing but the brats or children around. As Nirvana's kind of profounded by this, as he's like, nothing but brats? As the old guy points him out to the window outside, as he sees that every single person there, they are just children. Which Nirvana finds off because, you know, there were adults there. Even if the parents, even because even if not every parent was excited about the child stuff, you would think all of them would at least be interested in, at least they would be with their kids, not just, being like, all right, kids, have fun in this wonderland, and while we go into a different place. Now again, all these chapters are already out, so I'm so it's gonna be already explained some translate or in some attempts, but I think it is just gonna cue them in to go to a different place. Personally, I feel like all Nirvana and this old guy who finds this place too childish need to really do is be like, hey, excuse me, but I know you have the hero thing, but is there like a but on this brochure there are these different places. How do we get to them? I feel like this laugh place would just kind of be more of my thing. So I do feel like they're still gonna be able to find a different place pretty soon. But regardless, the two of them are. Nirvana notices the fact there's only children here, and we can't leave off of that. So yeah. Anyways, then we cut back to Shy as she's kind of like trying to make yay, focus on me, kind of get everyone's attention. As she's just on one of those like horse riding carnival things. As she's just trying to focus on attention, as then the kids, because the announcement called her a white pervert, because the outfit that Shy kind of wears is kind of very skimpy when you think about it, like the hips and you know what we've seen how Shy looks like, and that anime gave us fan service on that area, so the kids are kind of looking at her like this and calling her that, and Shy finally realizes how this kind of looks like, and she's kind of finally gets the embarrassment because in spite of her growing, doing something embarrassing would still drive her in. As then we have a child running to her and grabbing her, as this child's calling for her daddy to come and look and take a picture. As Shai's like, no, I don't wanna. As then she looks at this child and she sees it's Pilsa, and it's like Pilsa-san because she's shocked because Pilsa looks like a little child now, and Pilsa still has her like attitude about her. So she's like, don't. How do you know my name and all that stuff? As they are trying to guess the situation, lo and before, Kufo pops out in a finally magical female magician assistant outfit, and like time to play and Shy as Kufo get ready to have a fight, and that's what we get in the next chapter with Shy and Kufo confronting each other, and Shy asks Kufo about Pilsa, like why is she a child? As then Kufufu just attacks her, and we have like a little fight sequence where we just have like Kufufu throwing a bunch of toys and things to play with because Kufufu's fighting mechanic are toys. But luckily, Shai is able to dodge it with Pilsen, and they are jumping quite far away. Especially just wants to go back to her father and all that. As then we get like a little moment where it's kind of again supposed to show Shai's character progression, as she quotes something that Pills said to her about strong heroes and all that. As Pills is kind of confused because Pills has no memory. As then while the Shai is dodging this area because Kufa appears again with a bunch of toys and monsters to attack. They dodge, but unfortunately for her, Kufu uses I think an umbrella or one of those like magic sticks, and she yoinks Pilse to her cart as as Bill says, lost children go to the child incubator as she rides a cart while Shai wants to go behind with those monsters chasing after her and attacking her, getting her in the way. As then Phil says questions about like the child incubator. I guess she thinks Goof is one of the staff members, which is technically true. I mean, she did work in a ice cream store, in an ice cream place, and now she's dressed like a stage musician. So there's right, and as Kufa starts explaining to her about what the child incubator is, as she explains that adults that regress into children will eventually regress into eggs, which Risa points out that's not how children and childbirth works, which is kind of an iffy thing for her to know, but regardless, it's just supposed to be, like it's a difference about even like Bill said being a bit more mature than a regular child, while Kufa is, I'm assuming, older than older, but she still has like a very child view on it. I don't think now that she doesn't know how this whole thing works, which is a possibility with someone like Kufu, or if she just has like this kind of this kind of like just it's more Wonderland esque about like you regress into an egg in a child's view. So regardless, she says that people who regress in age become eggs eventually, and they stay in those states where they're basically comatose, and they have their memory, and they have just their dreams at that point, and the Amalariacs will harvest those dreams as power to make themselves stronger and make the land and everything stronger. So right now, Bill's de-aging herself, even though she was like a teen, but still de-aging herself will eventually de-age herself into an egg if this continues. So they are going to a child incubator to put her there, because so they'll be turned into a power source. As then they go past what the child incubator is, and she Kufuman points to that thing, which is basically, I believe one of the comments I read when I was reading Shaya Manga that said, like, what the hell is up with Jujutsu Kaisen building in a smack in the middle of the park? Because, like, it's like a, how do I say it? It's like, it's a giant mouth thing that looks like a piece of flesh that came from the ground up. Like, it's like one of those really, like, weird kind of creatures things. As Skufufu takes Pilsa in that direction, as they are running there, but Shai is able, like, I don't know if Shai hears the entire thing or just a few things, but Shai hears Pilsa screaming about in fear from that thing, and Kufu and Shai goes there to stop them, and also has flashbacks to her first, like, attempt at stopping a cart with Taro in the first episode and all. Well, no, actually, that was I think her name. I'm forgetting what Shai's name. His friend, girlfriend, love interest, whatever she is supposed to be. His name is, but regardless, she remembers how she failed to save at that time. But this time she will succeed. This time she will work. Like she's more skilled. She's more used to it, and just in general, she's more prepared. So she goes there. Kufa notices how Kufa removes some of the cards to like slow her down, but it doesn't work. So then Kufa goes to like attack Shy, but Shy is able to punch, well, probably kick her more likely, and is then able to grab Pills and save her while stopping the card, and this time succeeding what she failed to do last time. So yeah, and then and then Shy's very happy, and she's able to save it with this time. But then as soon as she's like trying to, get the situation with Pilsel over, Kufu appears and like, congratulations, you win! Oh no, you don't. And she puts Shy into her like magic hat that she was wearing, and she like does that whole magic trick, oh look, I stuffed this rubber and now it's empty and all that. So that's kind of reference here. As Kufu does this to Shy, and Shy is sent into a pocket space, which, funny enough, I think it's like the first time Kufu has actually won a fight in the series. Because like I think in every fight that she's been in, she's kind of been like, I don't want to say she's been a weak opponent or like a not and difficult opponent, but like in their first fight with Spirit, Shy, and Sueta, I think she was more like, kind of getting beaten around a lot during that whole fight. Then during the second encounter, it wasn't really much of a fight. It was just her kind of like dawdling around with them a bit, like getting a few kicks on her, but not really, affecting her much until they put her to sleep. So yeah, I think it's like the first time Kufa's actually dug on a W in a combat sense. Which, great moment, great for Kufa, I guess. So yeah, anyways, then we cut back to Shaw in that spirit world that she got sent to, and she's kind of like, yeah, how could she get captured? How could she fall for a trap like this? And she falls down into a place as she falls there, and then she hears someone speaking about, I guess if anyone was gonna come down there, it would be you. As Shaw looks at her, she sees Pepesha is there, who is kind of, chill and all that, since I guess Kuvo keeps her in that pocket space or whatever she has when she's not around them. Which is kind of a weird way to control your mother, but whatever. Sorry, that's the end of the chapter, and I'm hoping this means that we're gonna get the next couple of chapters soon. And I also do hope we're gonna be continuing the translations for Shy, because I think the way that Volume 13 ends is also in a very cliffhanging way. So let's hope they do get a conclusion to that. But anyways, after that, it's time for Torture Princess, chapter 238, titled Torture 238. As then we have an you in Inca Chan Inchan's torture, as we have in you're saying, all right, but this time I'm going to finally stop my losing streak against you. As you know, put his usual confidence self, and this time he does say he has a secret weapon this time, as they're kind of wondering what the secret weapon is, as he revealed that he backed torture to help in the torture to help her. I think you is supposed to be taken as a girl, right? I'm pretty sure of that. I think. Well, regardless, you as he backs Torture for help, and Alex kind of like, after last time when you failed with Sakura, you're now going to rely again on someone else, because like again, like because there's like last time he failed because it was basically Sakura's torture while the two of them just sit there and watch. So it's kind of a similar thing here, but this time it's basically just to get inspiration for the food torture that torture does. So you this time eating makes like fries, so you want to eat them because he's going. But Princess can eat them, but she cannot. But she will not have seasoning while he has seasoning. But then princess eats them, and then she's like, "Ha! I don't need to. These fries are good enough on their own. It's kind of necessary, honestly." So you think, "Oh my God, he failed," but then Sean suggests something else, like a little trick that she saw on TikTok or online about what they should do to like nuggets, and if you like put nuggets. I think she puts the nuggets they also have because I think they were just taking them from McDonald's or something. Put them in like I think the fries box or something, or like they put. Actually, I think they have the fries or where the nuggets were, and then put the seasoning on them, and then like you shake them, those seasoning, and then you kind of offer them, and they are supposed to be like super tasty. And that trick works on Princess, so she confesses everything to these shaken nuggets, as they call them. And she gives her secret away. And then we go to Hellord, and okay, this is not actually reaction to a secret or anything. Since let's be honest, also we probably forgot about the fact that they are even supposed to be getting secrets at this point, or secrets about the Empire, because right now the Hellhound is more focused on the something he learned about tea, where apparently I think what it was just like when you make tea, you can keep um, when you make tea and you have like you have those little tea bags in there, you can actually just like put it on the corner of the bag, and then like you can I think it was supposed to be squeeze the something or like use the pressure from the being to that side or that corner. It will just quickly dry up and it will be able to easier remove it. So you know how it kind of gets messy with those tea bags after you dip them in the water to make tea. So Hellhold finds out about that, and that's what he's more focused on. Maybe it's supposed to be implied that a princess told him of that secret, but I feel like that would just be unnatural information you would probably learn. I don't really feel like Hellhold would really that he would need princess for that kind of information, unless it's implied that none of the demons knew about that, which might be the case, honestly. But anyways, after this time for torture, it's time to go to peakness. I mean, 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Chapter 183 titled Rento's Family Melee Super Fun Vacation. Because it's vacation time, so time for fun. So yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with the girls being ready to go on vacations. They're all on plane, all happy because they can be in swimsuits all day and, family resort because Ahari is made of money, basically. I mean, we have literally seen her pull stacks of cash off her boobs, for crying out loud, as they fly there, but unfortunately they crash. And in case you're wondering why they crashed, well, honestly, the better question is how the fuck did they not crash because of their pilots? Because their fucking pilots are a girl who's actively said that she cannot use her eyes multiple times, and a girl who is probably the weakest creature on the planet Earth at this point. Just I don't think there's many competition for Suzuku or many animals that could beat the Suzuku could beat in a fight. But regardless, they are just kind of panicking because they're trapped on this island. So yeah, the characters are currently now a bit stuck there, and now they're kind of going through their information. They're trying to get a reception to call for help, but these stranded stories go. For some fucking reason, it's like the one place where there's like no reception or anything, no emergency at all. You'd think that modern period would, you'd think that modern culture would modern world would try to fix this by making some kind of, like emergency when you are like shut down your phone, but you're still able to, even if you do not have, you're not able to like unlock your phone or something, you're able to at least call the emergency help and all that on the first screen you open. You'd think something like that would be invented at this point, so whenever you get stranded, you would be able to call for help or something and not get stranded and for life. But regardless, this does not exist in the 100 girlfriend world, so now they just have to find food and water to survive until a plane and all that passes by. So yeah, as then they So yeah, the characters now decide to kind of go into search for water and food, before that, there's like a little joke about Sue thinking they can drink water from the ocean because she's not aware of the fact that, because Sue's supposed to be useless with everything that's not a number, so she doesn't capiche that she cannot drink seawater. So they kind of go a bit around the place to look for it, and they're like trying to be very careful because there's a lot of things around. They only have their swimsuits on, which they do kind of make a joke about. Like, it would probably have been best if they at least had something else on, but what can you do at this point? You're stuck now in swimsuits on an abandoned island. So they're gonna go walk around a bit, and they find a spree there as Kumi goes to drink some water, and Rentaro was like, "No, we should first find out if it's poisonous or not, since this is a stream, a random source of water on the island." As then they're kind of wondering what's this like surefire way they can find out if there's anything wrong with this. As Rentaro then says, "If nothing happens to me in about 8 hours, then then the water is fine to drink." And then we kind of get a little bit of a jokes about Rentaro's safety task, basically being, if I eat it and in a few hours I'm fine, then you all can eat it. As the girlfriends are kind of shocked, and not also that he's kind of pissed off at how Rentaro wants to kind of kill him. He's gonna end up killing himself if he keeps taking all these risks. And then we have Rentaro go for fruits, and he makes a little joke about, and he comes there, and then Iko wants to give herself, so he'll fall on her, but Rento's like, "Of course I'll not fall on my girlfriends, obviously, perfect plan." So he gets the fruit, he does the same thing as he did with the water, because I guess asking Nana if there's a way they can test this out, because if there's any one of the girlfriends that would know how to, survive this, it would probably be Nana. Which makes me realize we don't have a survivalist expert in 100 Girlfriends yet, so I guess that's like one of the possible character tropes that we're gonna get. But anyways, then Rentaro gets to collecting more, so if his task is gonna be effective, they might as well have more in a half time. So they'll be able to quickly eat it, since again, if you're not gonna be able to eat anything in 8 hours, and I'm assuming the girlfriends probably it's been a while since they ate anything. Oh my god, being on this island with Kumi is probably a nightmare zone, and when you really think about it, but regardless, they get the food quickly. But this time when Gentaro goes to get it, his arm stretches and grabs the fruit, as there's a One Piece reference, as they're like, "Why did you eat the gum gum fruit by any chance?" Which, since it's Rentaro we're talking about, he probably would exercise his body to a point he would be able to mimic the gum gum fruit. So yeah, as they get through, and they kind of go back to the shore to get again the better view in case if there is like a plane passing by, it'll be easier to spot in the middle of the forest. As then Rento's like looks at his extend arm because he cannot retract it right now, and he thinks to himself, "Oh, is this manga having a season now? Because even by the normal standards of this manga, this is ridiculous." Which is true. That's the thing about 100 Girlfriends. You kind of expect everything to happen, but you also think there should at least be this. 100 Girlfriends is still supposed to be relatively grounded. It's not supposed to be something like One Piece or Naruto or My Academia or whatever. It's not supposed to be on those levels, but yet here you have straight up superpowers. And not even like a one-off joke. Like Rento's arm is literally stretched out, and looking at the next chapter's Raws, I'm kind of. It is seems to be at least meant to be a literal thing. It's not like one of those things where Rento drank the water and the fruit that he got, sick or something. It seems to straight up be the effect of reality, basically. As they go there, then they're like, "Oh, how are they gonna build a house?" Because there's a lot of them, and now they have anything on. Again, only swimsuits, people, only swimsuits, and phones for some reason, which makes me question where exactly they're keeping their phones if they only have swimsuits on. But I don't know, man. I guess some have very fluffy and big swimsuits on, so maybe they have them. or maybe they just stuffed them into Hahari's boobs. I mean, those are definitely big enough to hold a few phones. But regardless, then Enter says, wait a minute, if I have the Gunga food powers, then I guess we could use them like Luffy does and get tree wood from there so they can use to build a house. And Rento does this and they do this and they get like the trees and get to taking the pieces off. And there's a little joke about like Asa being very happy that they are all lifting together because these are huge trees that are moving around. Like there's enough of them they can move around, but there's definitely gotta be some exercise on strength and all that, and all strength and all that. And I think Arcode makes a Pikmin reference as well, as in they are building this house, as in they have all the wood they need, but now there's a question of how they're gonna put it all together. As then Rentar uses his stretching Gum food powers to fuse the house together. To pull the pieces together to make a house for everyone. And yeah, he's basically like, do not worry, girls. I spent the entire day with you in your swimsuits. That gives me enough energy to be able to last for an entire night pulling this house together. As they have the girlfriend sleeping. And and one thing I would like to mention is that Era is scared of the dark because she can't kick it. Which, looking back at, that's gonna explain a little joke she had with Hahai in one of the daily life chapters. Because remember, in one daily life, she got scared and Hahai caught her, and she did like that. She's like, "Do not worry, your mommy's always gonna be there to help you." But then I was like, I don't do the regression thing, right? Which I guess now we find out why Hahai thought that Eri does the regression thing, because he's scared of the dark. It kind of implies that she at least sleeps with a nightlight or something, which is kind of a funny concept to think about. Like the fact that Aries now is probably one of the ones that sleeps with a nightlight. But regardless, Moha seems to comfort her enough because they can't use their phones because they'll run out of battery. If they get reception, they'll be able to contact their rescue and all that. So right now they need to save their energy, especially if they're gonna have to explore a cave later. So they comfort her enough so she sleeps. Maybe it's like she seems to be a bit more on her side, so maybe holding something calms her down, like similar to our chill and do again, explain how high is joke. As then the next day, Rento lets the house fall apart, and they see that the effects that they to Rento's body because now he's completely stretched because he was wrapping things around himself for an entire night. He even previously couldn't stuff it back in. So he's then like, now that he's so long and tall, he would be able to stretch himself to civilization and go get help. So he went does that, and he goes to a direction that should be an island. As Kishiro tries to stop him because he will become even less of a human at that point, but he can't hear because he's too far away. His desire to save his girlfriend is too strong to listen to reason. As he goes there, then he hits a brick wall. As he's a bit confused on this, as he then goes over the wall, as he sees that they didn't get stranded on an island, they got stranded on a floating island because it's straight up whenever they do a lifting an island skill feat for the characters in manga. As he realizes that, so yeah, things are going crazy. And to think, it doesn't seem like anything of this comes from the food he ate. So yeah, another chapter of 100 Girlfriends Speakness or Insanity. Either one of the two honestly works if we're being totally honest to ourselves. So yeah. And now with the lighter tone out of the way, it's time we talk about probably the saddest chapter. That it's the third final chapter. Well, the third. No, how do I say it? It's like, what's the title for it? The third to second before the last chapter of the story, and that's of course My Academia chapter 428, titled The Girl Who Loves Smiles. So this is gonna be our chocolate focus chapter, which makes sense. She alongside the Roku were kind of like the two focused on when we had the whole, like some things cannot be stopped by punching the villain. So it makes sense that we will focus on Ochako right now, and this chapter itself is very clear of that. We just don't realize we're gonna end the story on chapter 430. I haven't really thought about which would be the final chapter, honestly. But whatever. So, anyways, we start this chapter off by disciplining the fangirls from the first years about, running after their idols, as Todoroki and Roku are hiding behind Ida as he's lecturing them, while Bakugo is screaming at Ida, Ida, do something! They were running! They were breaking rules! Breaking rules! It's just, again, it's supposed to calm the situation a bit, since, we were dealing with quite hard and heavy subjects, so it's meant to be a common joke. As the first years realize their flaws and their mistakes, and they apologize. As they have some of the class being a bit pissed at Baku and Todoroki getting so much attention, like, Deku actually beat the final villain, stopped their biggest threat, and yet it's Bakugo and Todoroki that get all the hype, all the love from everyone. Which I guess you can kind of view as kind of like a meta dislike for this exceptions of characters, how like the pretty boys who admittedly do a lot of shit, but when it comes down to it, they aren't like the main saviors, get more recognition than the actual savior kind of character. So it makes sense that they would be a bit. So you kind of feel like that, but again, it's just a little joke. But luckily, one guy from the first years does appear, and before they leave, does say, "Thank you, Izuko. He was inspiration for all he did." Like, they do acknowledge Izuko's accomplishments. It's not like they're just gonna completely ignore him and think, "Oh my God, let's focus on the pretty bad boys over there. Oh, they're so cool." So there is some actual respect and actual admiration for Deku. Then we go to the teachers as Aizawa, as President is like, "Oh yeah, the media is being all big on wanting to interview Class 1A. What do you think about that?" As Aizawa tells them, like, no, he doesn't want them to be interviewed because they have bigger things to worry about than a bunch of media reporters asking a bunch of gotcha questions and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna focus on this at all. I could totally see this like being maybe like just a quick breeze through or anything in the final chapter, because I don't think it's happens in the next chapter, or this is like referred to or anything next chapter. But regardless, we just got away from that as we got to what the students are doing right now, as we have the new semester start, and now the main thing they're gonna be doing in the class one, no, 2A is gonna be doing is helping construction. Like it was said, like there's a lot of destruction, so they need to rebuild a lot of things. They would work faster if they had, more help. So Fat Gum and Sun Eater, because Sun Eater became his sidekick after graduation, are now gonna be in charge of this place. I'm actually, it's like, I don't want to say Fat Gum became a teacher, but it's more like they are all in a like there is just a lot of rebuilding to do, so they kind of have to help. We got what because of the situation. So now he's like unofficially the teacher, and Acha's also there, but Acha's like a not like snake form, but he's able to regain some of his threat. So now he has a few arms, like tiny arms, and Bulgari Kama has like a little conversation about with Acha about that, like, so you're just gonna stay like this forever? Because again, like Atshot is like this tall and he's like a little snake. Now he just has a few extra limbs to add, but they are still like just rats. So yeah, they are they are there, and Class 1A is like immediately on top of the situation. Like before even fully explain what they are doing and all that, the Class 1 is already like you guys with in higher strength levels, move that the rubble away. You with destruction, destroy the rubble so we have place to move ability. I'll make Momo will make this equipment and all that. So it's a lot of that stuff like they're on top of it. They were training for a year to handle stuff like this, and but they were prepared. I imagine I imagine that Aizawa before they went on this trip, Aizawa explained to them like, all right, this is what we need to do. This is gonna be the best things, the best for all of your power. So work fast and work quick as they prepare and they're all on top of it. And after some time, it's like well, in the manga, it's immediate, but I think it's probably meant to be taken as in it's a few hours of a gap. Some of the civilians show up and they prepare some food and help the students because you're helping us rebuild the city, so we should at least give you. So we should help you by giving you food and helping you relax. It's gonna be kind of weird if we just demand you have to do everything and all that. So they're doing their part. So they're way better people than I am. So yeah, then they are kind of talking and eating, and then another bus, and then they're like how quickly they can uh, rebuild that. And like as I believe Kiroshima's like, don't worry, with all this energy you're giving us, we'll be able to finish it today. As as the civilians are being a bit realistic, and be like, okay, maybe not in a day, but I feel like but let's be realistic. It's like you'll not be able to do it in a day. But then another boss shows up, as Zod's kind of a bit shocked as he sees the first years come here, as is the first years want to help and kind of do a bad apology about the whole damn chasing Bakugo and Shoto around. So they wanted to come here and help, and Samantha's was in charge of them, so he was like, yeah, so they just insisted so much, so I decided that it would be best if they come here and help. This is on helping. So yeah, as there's a little bit again reaction by class 2A. The first is a bit intense, but regardless, we have them helping. Like they may not have their provisional life, so they cannot use their powers, but extra arms, extra help. It's always gonna be appreciated and necessary, especially when it comes to rebuilding a city. And also, I imagine that the criteria for allowing quirks is gonna be a bit limited, or during the year, it's probably gonna be a bit more allowed, so the construction could work faster. Like I could imagine, like one guy being like, "Oh, I really wish I could help you on disposal fund, but I'm not allowed to use my quirk." As then maybe I'll be like, "Wait, give me a sec." But so now, so one of those first years has a power that allows them to assist in the disposal of rubble. Can he get permission to use it and all that? So you'll be able to help a lot. Like even if they're not trained, they could at least assist in some way, and some permission for you to use some quirks that could assist. So yeah, as then we kind of gloss over it. Choco has a little smile, be like, yes, everyone smiles and everything's going back to normal. As then we cut to nighttime in a dormitory. As Tsu is a little sad because Choco's not responding to her calls because they're probably all hanging out right now, so she wants to hang out with them, but Choco is not with everyone else, so Tsu is a little worried, but Izuku kind of knows where she's in. It's like I think it's in that place that they had the Choco and Izuku at their meeting before the final battle. So Izuku is going in that direction while Choco is there, and she's kind of thinking to herself about some stuff. And she's kind of like she's happy that everything's kind of going back to normal and everyone's smiling, but she is a little upset, regardless of how selfish it would be that her fight with Toga wasn't recorded, and we get a little flashback towards it, and it's like the news reporter and the cameraman were so like in a hurry to get there that they didn't actually have a fully charged camera. So the guy's footage wasn't recorded. Like those two were just there, kind of flying around until like needing to take Ochako to a hospital. So yeah, though that news report really, I feel like has like the worst luck when it comes to reports. And I do hope that she's the one that gets the news reports at some point because like it is how unfortunate how she basically is like out of luck in this category. So yeah, she's a little bit upset about that. So she looks down on herself a bit. As then we have that. As then she has. Then she Chocolate's kind of getting a bit upset because I'm kind of guessing that Toga died from blood loss. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly stated, but it does seem to be at least heavily suggested and taken by the community that Toga died because of blood loss during the fight. Like, he was kind of toyed around with, or Toga, I believe Ujara said, Toga, if you do the blood transfusion on me, you're gonna die. And Toga did that, so I guess she actually died. So I guess Chioka died and Toga died. At least that's what I'm kind of guessing, especially as they don't mention her. So yeah. Anyways, Chioka's a little sad the fact that her fight wasn't recorded, but because her fight meant more like the flaw with the society and all that. Because like Shigaraki and Darby are kind of special cases when it comes to a lot of this tragedy and how involvement with the heroes. While Toga is more of the biggest example of the problem with society. Spinner as well, but Toga is another one where the way they treated her and the way because of her quirk and her general personality made it so she lost it and she attacked and tried and sucked blood and all that. So her fight, so recording her fight with Ochako would probably have been the most meaningful and impactful one, and what people should do. And I'm kind of guessing that's also what they're gonna be discussing in the next chapter, from what I've seen of the Ross. So yeah, it's like Ochako is a little sad that she doesn't that her fight and all that wasn't recorded. So the flaws are still gonna be out there, and Ochako even starts to kind of cry over that fact as Dakush comes to Choco because again he knows where Choco went to, and if we go with with Deku being and Ochako being a couple at the end of the series, it'll probably make the most amount of sense for them to have this moment together, and we'll see in that direction. And considering how crazy the shippers in MHA are, I kind of would feel like the next chapter will end up, war once it comes out in English. So prepare for war. Either that or nothing. I don't know. I just feel like in general, recent times, it seems to be more the MHA haters that seem to be more the annoying, toxic part of the MHA community than the shippers. But I don't know. There wasn't really much romance in the last couple of chapters of My Academia to really go crazy over. So who knows? Anyways, that's the end of My Academia. Now we have Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, chapter 164, called Freeway Battle with over the world. Okay, technically it's a little bit more, but it's basically 3 sides. So we start this chapter off with a lot of updates to explain to us what's going on, as we see VNS reassess. Okay, it's reassess the parts of VNS that were destroyed and were not taken by Sabretooth are combined together and again return to VNS. So VNS is back in rampaging. So I guess we get that dragon for a bit more. As then we have Alderon seed or something emerging out of the ground again, as he again appears, and God also big he is this time. I've actually been a bit rereading the fight against Alderon in the last couple of chapters, so yeah, Alderon's now back and giant, probably bigger than ever, considering what they say about some of the others later. But regardless, he's back. Then we have Morphobia, who is continuing his rampage and destroying, and his assistant is kind of like reacting. Morphobia, why are you attacking everything? And also, where is this power? You didn't have it at the start of the series. which I think is gonna be pretty soon in the anime. I think episode 5 or 6 or somewhere on that part. Probably 5, I'm guessing, because I think episode 4 deals with volume two. So yeah, regardless, VNS is Mophobia is rampaging. Then we come to Diabolus again, so we finally get an update on them as they are in their guild hall. As Celine transforms and starts. Well, she doesn't really rampage, but it seems like I don't know. She seems to be like just kind of miserable state or something. As the Diabolisms are like, my God, there's so many Dragon Slayers here. Why can we not do anything? Because they can't really stop and help Celine. As Suzaku senses the power from Celine, is like when we fought or when we encountered each other, she did not have this much. So yeah, and then Madmol and Kira notice something outside. They see a giant Lacrima. As then we cut back to the Fire and Flame Guild, as we have Ignia explaining the great labyrinth of Dogra and how Dogramon was building an elect, which sounds like he's the only dragon god that didn't get revived by this, but who knows, maybe he did get revived after, I think in the last chapter there was like 4 lights, but here we clearly have all of the 5. Well, actually no. The reason there was 4 lights in the previous chapter was because only 4 of them turned to dragons and rampage. It seems like Igna isn't doing anything with that, which I'm not entirely certain why. I mean, maybe you could say Vienna's and Alderon because they were dead, but Selene and Merphobia were just peacefully living their daily lives. Like, Merphobia was probably tending to his plans, while Selene was probably having a mother-son conversation with Suzaku. So it's kind of a weird thing how in this chapter she's rampaging, but regardless, we have. But regardless, Ignia explains that he built it and that he will use the power of the dragon gods and to turn humans into dragons to create his dragon nation to rule over and take over the world, and how it was 400 years ago and all that stuff. As then we have Dark Ferris, not well, non Ceres saying, a dragon nation, I see, so I guess you are my enemy now, so I guess you're Acnologia's enemy, and I obey Acnologia's will, so I guess this alliance is going into the shitter. As then we have, I think, Non-Ferris asking Natsu what he's gonna pick, and he says, I guess I'll side with humanity. So we have a Dragon Nation, Dragon side, Dark Wizard sides, which I think is meant to be taken more as a demon side, and then we have the human side, which is Natsu and the gang. So, but anyways, Natsu says this he says he'll be on the side of humanity. He didn't go in a very dark tone. He then goes back to his usual cheery self. It's like, well, it does not matter because we will beat both of you down because that's what we do and all that stuff. As then when he looks back up them, he sees that he's with his gang together. As they're like, wait, what are you talking about, Natsu? There you are. Oh, we have some information that we need to exchange. Seems like something went down and all that. As then where are we? As then Alpha person or the wizard, and that's with Athena, appears as he teleported them back there, and they're gonna have a little group up and talking about what happened. As then we have cut back to Fire and Flame Guild, as we have Non-Ferris disappearing, as Ignia tells the Fire and Flame members, are you ready to turn into dragons? As they all die in agreement, yes, we will be dragons. So yeah. Anyways, then we cut to Ferris, the non-Ferris, and her forces, where she's gets ready and she tells them to get ready. As we see that her group is gonna be she calls them demons of the Book of Ferris, Orakion 6. So I think it's like Dark 6 or like Demon Gate 6. So I'm not exactly sure what Orakion means. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to mean 6, but Orakion I'm not forgetting what it means, even though I think it's like Is the Iraqian like the one group name that Marshmallow has used in all his work? Because I know it was a group previous in Fairy Tail. They made it clear. I know Aiden Zero does, and I think Rave Master also has a group called Orochian. Or at least there's like one group that he reused in Rave from Rave Master. Just his name. And I think the Elemental Four were a Fairy Tail thing, so I think it was Orochian. So regardless, we have them as we see all of them there, as we see like one is like a golem, one is like a butler-looking humanoid with horns. Then there's the obligatory sexy female. Then there's the guy who has like the most generic, I am the leader and the strongest of this group kind of guy. He just looks very generic, honestly. Probably the most generic of all of them. Then we have like a guy who reminds me of a character from Tokyo Ghoul Re slash. Okay, he looks like a character from combined from the guy from Tokyo Ghoul Re, Vendon like uniform, and some kind of snake that he has on him, fused into one being. And then we have a guy with a bird helmet kind of thing, as he's like, kind of looks like, you know how you usually depict like bird human hybrid male ones, with like feathers around, like a feather cape and all that. So yeah, this is the Ferris's forces, because they're gonna be a three-way battle. No, I'm not entirely certain how this is gonna go. Are we going to go slowly through everyone, or this is gonna be like an Alvaros arc? Like, there's a bit of a debate on how things are gonna go, but if I had to assume, I would guess that Fairy Tail members and Diabolos are gonna, join together. So they did say they're gonna be working together, and between Fire and Flame, the demons as well as the dragon gods, I feel like there's more enough opponents to give a bit more of a combat thing. So I could kind of see Diabolus and Fairy Tail members sort of splitting the forces between each other. At least that's what I'm kind of getting, since I kind of feel like the Signario sisters would make sense for Kiria and Misako, I think her name was. And the bird helmet guy kind of makes me think he would be a very good opponent for Skolian. I don't know, like the whole, he kind of gets me, this bird helmet demon kind of gets me a wind kind of ability vibe, and I feel like it would really work well with Skolian and Smoke. I just like this kind of Smoke versus wind kind of pairing. As you can imagine, I really was a big fan of Cinder smashing Euphrasia in Dragon's Rising Part 1. So this that he got back hit by in part 2 of Neon Jungle, but what the will this is not a Lego channel. This is a I have to made a Lego video on this channel. This is a anime talk. But regardless, I could see Diabolus and Fairy Tail splitting their opponents. I could see some members from Fairy Tail coming back and fighting and all that, but whatever. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter, and the next is One Piece, chapter 1121, titled The Upheaval of the Era. So I guess we are finally removing the final of the old generation, or whatever you want to call it at this point, because we have like multiple times we're like, the old era is gone, the old era is gone, the old era is gone, kind of thing. Like we had the Rogers dying, that's like the end of the era. Then we had like Whitebeard, that's like the end of the era. And now I guess the final remnants of the old era are gone, even though I feel that was supposed to be taken as kind of bigger, but whatever. The era is over with or something. As then we have Saturn attacking everyone still, and characters counter-attacking him, but they are not really able to switch, his poison is so dangerous. And while we have that, we gotta go back to like how we had for the last couple of chapters, where we had like Vegapunk's speech, while we had some action behind the scenes, as we have Vegapunk talking, as he talks about like how the weapons that were used in the war are still remaining, so they can still be used, like he said previously. That he can't really say anything on the who's right, who's wrong, because the way how like the final remnants of the races from that era still exist and how they're still in danger and all that, like Buccaneers, which we get some hints at uh, hints that Whitebeard might also have been a Buccaneer, considering the fact we have like thing where we have like the flashback with Kuma and Vegapunk, with Vegapunk finding out that Kuma is Buccaneer. Right below them is Whitebeard, as Marco is looking at him, and then Mushi, which makes me kind of wonder where is this supposed to be taking place, because last time we've seen Marco, he said he's gonna go help repay his debt to Weevil for keeping the Whitebeard's home village safe. So kind of a weird thing that he's now just I guess chilling in the village. Maybe the idea is supposed to be that he is already done what he did, or maybe this is like a thing where he and Bucky were traveling there, or maybe he was just going alone and Bucking to and the play and the village. So he just saw like heard about this match. He was like, "Hey kids, can I listen alongside you for a band?" Oh, good, thank you. And kids, all right, let's see. So regardless, Mark was listening to this broadcast, and we also see King finally, but unfortunately it's kept very vague on where he's at, because like he's bandaged up by looks of it, and even more than he did before, but it's not clear where he's in. Like there's no like boss in front of it the same way that it's in front of Pudding, but it's kept vague on his layout. So I'm not certain this is supposed to be like keeping I'm not certain what this is supposed to imply. Is he like in Impel Down? We know Impel Down does have recordings, so this could also be a marine ship that's transporting him to Impel Down. I'm not entirely certain what the implication is supposed to be, but regardless, King is listening. And then we have Pudding, who's also listening, and so I guess we find out the Third Eye are also kind of part of these like races that the world government wants to basically exterminate, like wipe out. It doesn't want them to exist again. As we have, I mean, we knew about Buccaneers and Lunarians, but we didn't know about the Third Eyes, because during Hogak Island, it was just said, "Oh, 3 eyes, it's creepy." Like, that's it. That's all we had. So it's kind of makes sense that we got the same kind of explanation that we putting in the same kind of criteria. Especially since I feel like the Feralites are like the most obvious in terms of races that you would want to exterminate from the world government perspective, because like Lunarians just seem to be like a thing where they want them exterminated because they took over their previous their homeland. Not really anything else. From what it seems to be kind of implied, or at least shown so far. Buccaneers, outside of side with Joy Boy, there's really nothing about them that would make sense why they would want to be exterminated to the extent the world government wants them. But Third Eyes, they can read the polyglyphs, they can discover the history. The world government doesn't want you to discover. It's the reason why they killed Vegapunk quite a lot. So it's kind of a weird thing how she's the one that's kind of like makes the most amount of sense, even though I think she's the one that has only been revealed to be in the same category in this chapter. But regardless, that's the last Descendants. So, and then Vegapunk also goes talking about how all this events, all this chaos, everything going on right now is just a prologue to the real final war, the war that's finally gonna come to an end. Well, what Vegapunk thinks it's going to finally come to an end. As then we focus a little bit on the Straw Hats fighting Saturn, as we have Bonnie again her like Nika form, and talking about what Saturn did to her family, what he did to his mother, what he did to her father, uh, all that shit, just to remind us about that, all those horrible things, as Saturn just gets his usual, "You are insects, I am God," but Bonnie tells him that he's not God, because you know how horrible and awful he is. Well, people like Kuma and her mom are extremely nice people. Like, Kuma did not care that Bonnie is not his child. He did not care that Bonnie is a celestial dragon's child. He knew that she was Ginny's daughter, and that's all that mattered to him. That's all that matters to, and that's all that mattered. Yeah, that he knew she was Jeannie's, and now he's her parent, because that's what he needs to do. So, in that sense, it's again like a very good emotional payoff to like for this final punch, as we have Luffy creating a bunch of his arms to punch Saturn, and then Bonnie uses one for arms to punch. As then we set, and then we have Bonnie naming the technique Liberation Nika Punch, as both of them attack Saturn, and it's much more to be taken as Bonnie's punch than Luffy's punch, because he's kind of quiet. He's just kind of nudging. He was kind of nudging in Bonnie to do this, kind of similar to how he did with Momonosuke. He was like, if you can't attack him, then just bite him. It will work. It's the message behind it. It doesn't matter how little it actually matters. It does not matter if you didn't even manage to wound Sato, which to be fair, Sato is extremely wounded. Like, you have him be filled with holes and sent off the ship into the water. And yeah. But regardless, Saturn is now down. As then some of the giants look up and see, hey, isn't that your ship? Ship Strawhead? As then we have the Thousand Sunny falling down, as we get like a little panicky like reactions by the characters, as we have Vegapunk still talking about his still doing his speech, which I think is gonna be coming to closure in the next chapter, because like the way he generally talks feels like it's already he's about to finish anyways. And Ethan said he was gonna blow him, so MF was talking about him blowing himself up, so it will kind of make sense that we end it soon. So yeah, and then Vegapunk starts talking about someone will get the One Piece. Someone will find it. Someone will get get to use it. But Vegapunk feels the person that will get it and the person who will find it is not the person that Joy Boy would pick. Like, he doesn't know who Joy Boy would pick, but it's like, he doesn't think it will be the one that Joy Boy would want. Or the chance of it being the one that Joy Boy would want, probably being Luffy, is very low, or it's not guaranteed. He's not confident. He just thinks that someone's going to get it. And interesting enough, while he's saying that, we got to Blackbeard and Red Hair Pirates ships. So I guess it's supposed to imply that both Blackbeard and Red Hair Pirates are the two crews that Joy Boy would not want. I mean, sure, some of the other characters who we get in the final page of the chapter are also like the ones that Joy Boy wouldn't want. Like the I think it was like the 12 that were chosen to be like the most likely to win, or at least the ones that Oda wants to be the most significant. We'll get into them in a little bit. It's just that right now it's significant the fact that Vegapunk outright calls Right Here Pirates, Blackbeard Pirates. Joy Boy does not want them, which Blackbeard Pirates makes sense, while Red Hair Pirates are kind of, like, okay, even though I don't like the Red Hair Pirates and I don't like Shanks, I mean, I don't even want to call him by his name. I just want to call him Captain Overrated. But, like, it's interesting how in the universe it's straight up said that Shanks will not be wanted by Joy Boy. Yeah, we don't really know why. It's like one of those things where we can't even like ignoring the Shanks is evil theories. It's just in general, why would Joy Boy not want Shanks? Is it being a descendant celestial dragon? Is it something about Shanks' ideals that would make him not want? Is the portrayal of him drinking, getting love being drunk and all that, especially in this chapter where they even again mention that he's drunk, not exactly liked, or what? Again, I'm not entirely certain what Joy Boy wants. Maybe it's the idea that how Shanks ended wants to end the dreams, how he follows follows the idea only the strong should be on the sea kind of mentality. Like, maybe that's the problem that Joy Boy has. Like, it's like one of those things like, alright, you may not be morally the worst person to be get the treasure, but your idea of ruling the seas does not work, or something like that. I'm not entirely certain. Regardless, it seems like Shanks is not who Joy Boy wants, as then Vegapunk tells them that someone will get the treasure, and the One Piece will be found and discovered in this century. And so I'm assuming it's gonna happen pretty soon. So I guess yeah, we are in Endgame now, even more than before. It's kind of similar to the speech that Doflamingo did. Like a lot of people compare this to Doflamingo's speech, where it's like, you know, how he names people who he thinks are gonna be like the big competitors for the One Piece, like the Warlords, the Yonko, the Marines, the I think he mentioned Celestial Dragons, the Revolutionaries, did I mention the Worst Generation? Well, that's also like he names, but this time Vegapunk doesn't name anyone, but he mentions how there's a possibility that someone who Joyboy wouldn't want is in charge. And then and the final page he tells them they'll find it. We see a panel, we have a bunch of panels where we see the top contenders for it. Where we see all the four Yonkos, obviously, even though the Bug is kind of a comical one to be added there. But, you know, a lot of people kind of throw out the idea that maybe Buggy will be the first one to find it, but he will not be the one to get it. It's kind of like one of those things where he is going to luck his way into being the first one, officially. But then, besides the obvious four, we then have Kobe and Suzo and Akainu, which is kind of an interesting person to pick because, you know, they kind of okay. The Marines Kobe and Akainu work in like these two represents two different mentalities for Marines and the future and all that. The different sort of lines between them, but they're not. But it's interesting they are contenders there because, you know, like there's even like a little comment in the end of this chapter, like a one marine base is like, "Oh no, we can't let pirates have it. We have to go and get it." But then like another marine tells this marine that, "What, are you an idiot? We have to protect our people, not get the One Piece." So I guess this is gonna be kind of the mentality of it. Like Kobe's faction is gonna be in this hunt more, and we need to keep the people protected. You guys are traveling in you big names are traveling in one direction and putting innocent civilians in danger of your rampage. So I could see something like that perspective, while Alkane's like, no, we must go get the One Piece so the pirates will not. We will get there first, and they'll use the One Piece to trap them and exterminate them, or something like that. So I guess that's gotta be the two mentalities there. Again, kind of weird those two are being put there. Like maybe it's gotta be another thing, like one of those where like Kobe and Luffy will get the One Piece together because those two are kind of like first two together. Like, all right, the first chapter of One Piece is kind of like a prequel chapter when you really break it down. And the first chapter is like with Alvida and Kobe and all that. So maybe those two are gonna be getting together, but Kobe will use it more as like not gonna use it the same way Akainu will or something like that. But we got like maybe he'll be more this symbolic symbol of a hero or something like that. But we got regardless of that, less of that, those two are kind of put there up as opposites, which alright makes sense. So, alright, I guess you can kind of have like their big players. But then we get to an interesting pair. We have Dragon and Sabo, and I don't really understand why those two are both put together. I mean, I guess you could say, oh, because Sabo became so infamous because he's not even rival in Dragon in popularity. It's kind of like the new generation, kind of similar to how like Luffy and the originals are kind of new generation for the piracy from the Yonko. So I guess you can view it like that. But the thing is, Dragon and Sabo are kind of on the same page on this. It's similar to another pair that we see later on. I'll talk about them at the last. So it's kind of an interesting thing where those two are opposites of each other, despite them being on the same page. Like, I mean, granted, there was some kind of, I don't want to say conflict brewing, but some disagreement, I guess you could call it, between Dragon and Sabo because of the whole King Cobra situation. But that was, again, more of like, King Cobra would have been a really good person to have in a New World government after the Celestial Dragons get abolished. So I'm kind of against killing him, if you get my drift. While Saul was like, I didn't want to kill him, and I didn't kill him, but not gonna say I'm angry at the results here, Dragon. So, yeah, those two kind of a weird thing, but alright. Then we get a silhouette panel where a character We don't know who this character is. Is it man marked by flames? Is this Shanks' evil twin, the guy who we follow Shanks during the reverie? I don't know. We can't say. All we have is a similar looking sword getting unsheathed. Who is to say? Like, we don't know. Is it Shanks' his sister? Is it Shanks' twin brother? Man marked by flames? Who knows at this point? Another interesting one we see is Aokiji, because like you don't really get why Aokiji would be there, because like not only is he could be like, or regardless of how you feel if he's gonna side with Blackbeard or not, it's weird that Aokiji would be in this competition for the One Piece, because like you know really, because you know the way Aokiji was, it's kind of a weird idea that he would be where again up for it. Like even in his younger days when he was called a fiery justice or whatever his title was, like you don't get the idea that he would be after One Piece in the same sense. Maybe in like a he's curious about the world's history and find out what exactly they did the most of all the characters because he has his own agenda. But again, it's kind of a weird thing with him being added there. Maybe he's supposed to be like a another line between all the three, similar to like Kobe and a kind of being like the opposite job. Maybe he's supposed to be like the one that has the experience on both sides. Like he has experience serving Akainu and his type of justice. He has experience with Kobe and his type of justice, but he also has like the experience from the pirate side of things. So he should know stuff like this the most kind of deal. I don't know. We're gonna have to see where this goes, but I kind of feel like he's like the weird one out. It's kind of like Subway and Boy and Dragon being put together, even though the two don't aren't really that opposed to each other. And then we get to the final two characters who are there, who are put on the contender side, which are Im and Saint. What's his name? Sanji's father. Was it no Garcia's son was what was his name? I'm trying to remember Shanks' father's name. The guy who has like the moon shaped hairstyle. The guy that we saw him killing Yozgar and in the flashback implied to sliced or gave Whitebeard a scar like that guy. Uh, he's there as well in amongst these people. So it's similar to Dragon. Like, why are these two being put in their own separate things? Maybe it's gonna be like a thing where this guy doesn't value or view him the same way as like the Gosei do. Like maybe it's like one of those things where this guy has like thinks he should be above because remember this uh, because the League of the Gods Knights has a very big ego. Like he started their what was it called? Am I blanking? Why am I blanking all these fucking names? God Valley, yes. On the God Valley's little slave hunt, he started that off by cutting the king before the competition started, just so he would be in the minus points, so there will be some competition, some excitement for him. So I could see a similar thing here, where he might think that he should be in charge and not Imu-sama, especially if Imu is like a very I mean, there's a fair that Emu might be like a little girl or something based on the design that, or maybe Emu doesn't really have like a very intimidating appearance or something. I don't know. We have to wait until Emu's official design is revealed. But regardless, maybe he's gonna be kind of also different. Maybe it's gonna be kind of thing where God's Knights think they should be above Emu and the Ghosts, like they should replace them because they will just it doesn't seem like the Gosei are the main combatants, and assuming that it is that that guy is as arrogant as we is so arrogant that even beings that the celestial dragons ravine, he thinks himself above that. So it's possible, but again, we don't really know why he's being put against them. Maybe it's gonna be like a thing where he's gonna try to like, oh, I'll get the One Piece, and maybe, and I would then become a Gosei, and maybe I could then replace Emo. Like, I could totally see something like that, like him being like, thinking that he's bad in Emo, so he's gonna try to replace him, kind of deal. It would make kind of sense, like, similar to how, like, Blackbeard pirates, it's their trust amongst each other is kind of questionable because, like, a lot of them have a high chance, especially about Pizarro, to, like, be daggers in Blackbeard's back. So it's kind of a similar thing with Emo and this leader of God's Knights. Which is kind of poetic that one of the lines that the Lord Raz did in Lego in Ninjago at part 2 is like, I respect the Forbidden Five strength, but I do not need a dagger in my back. So it's kind of funny how we have this chapter which kind of implies at least two sides that are gonna be daggers in someone's back. Maybe four, depending on how you interpret the Marine revolutionaries on this in this conflict. But regardless, that's the end of the chapter, and we have to wait the week before we caught up and hopefully finally end this arc and this broadcast. Because let's be sure, honest ourselves, it's kind of getting on people's nerves if you get my drift. So yeah, anyways, with the One Piece out of the way, it's up to the final chapter the final series that I have read this week, and that's Chainsaw Man, chapter 172, titled Biz Boom 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 or Chomp Boom Chomp. So yeah, it's just Biz Boom Chomp. So yeah. So we start this chapter off with Special Division 5 going against Chainsaw Man, but unfortunately for them, they immediately get cut down. Like, as soon as the chapter starts, they are dead. Like, first couple of panels, and they are. Poof. I mean, I'm kind like, it's not surprising. Like, the only thing that's surprising is the fact that the woman with the alligator side of her face was able to jump out of the way. Like, she smelled or sensed Denji approaching, so she jumped, but the rest were killed quickly. But then she even says like, oh, she dodged, but even she didn't dodge completely. She just managed to her body. She got caught before they even before she jumped on. Like, she jumped in the air. I was like, oh, I dodged, but then her head fell off. So I don't know. Maybe they were caught before Chainsaw Man even was there. Like, maybe it's like one of those, his chainsaws were so sharp that they were, a bit of a long range strike or something. Well, it doesn't really matter because she's dead now. So yeah, all of them were killed in seconds, like we fought. Like, I kind of wanted to kind of lead her into a bit of a joke with them like being like, nope, it's impossible. This is ridiculous. Even by unfair standards, this is way unfair. Let's just go away. Or maybe it's gonna be like only the human was gonna die, but the others just gonna like run for the hills because they reckon they can beat them. But regardless, it doesn't really matter because as soon as like that happens, Division 6 attacks again. It seems like they're kind of expecting them to be killed very quickly, or the they won't put much of a fight. So it was kind of a BS competition already. Basically, I wonder if that agent was just sacrificed from the beginning as well. But regardless, the agents have like a bit of an explosion, the boom, as you were, which sends Chainsaw Man down to the floor a bit, as then we have like a bunch of insect devils appearing, like restraining Chainsaw and going into a bit of a attack. And to be fair, they do manage to make Chainsaw bleed a bit, and they do report this that the agent guy reports, oh. So now there's like a bunch of theories on what exactly is their plan. Is there like some kind of ritual, some kind of sacrifice, or something they're planning to do on Chainsaw Man to get his power or something? Like, is there something specific? Because they imagine they want him to just bleed, just so they'll have some kind of damage. So maybe it's some kind of contract with a devil or something, since I do believe there were contracts in Chainsaw Man that involve like minimalistic damage. Like, I think Santa Claus had something like that going on, but we don't really know yet. All we know is that Chainsaw Man quickly dispatches the centipede beetle that was restraining him, as then the guy orders the Dumb Beetle fiend, I think, to do protect them, as then Dumb Beetle or to engage, and Dumb Beetle tells them to just hide behind him or hide anyone behind to block, but obviously Chainsaw Man will just slice him down quickly because like he just immediately cuts through. Like he's supposed to have very good defense, but it's nothing to Chainsaw Man. Like Chainsaw Man is way too powerful, so some probably average ranked, well, probably even on the. I'm not trying to entirely say how much people are scared of Dumb Beetles, but he's probably not exactly that high up in the fee hierarchy. So him being cut down quickly, so him, and this is like a fiend version, so it's even weaker than a regular devil. So him being cut down quickly is no surprise, and then just yeeps himself and every other thing outside the building, just cuts them down. As then his intestine to scarfing just kind of goes and collects the heads from this dumb beetle, as well as the cats of some of the others, like the ones from the Special Division 5, as well, and the fiends from Special Division 6, as well as for some reason that guy who was in charge there. I don't know, maybe he's just instinctually grabbing hats of everything around it to eat and erase because no, he gets like he has a very cool panel where he has like the hats around himself, and then you see like that ear fiend that was in the from the fifth division there as he gets ready to eat. As then we have like some of those like the information ones who keep track on cameras or anything saying, I repeat, the Chainsaw Man is beginning to eat the ear devil. I repeat, Chainsaw Man is beginning to eat the ear devil. As then we cut to Asa's group. As then Katana Man's like, where's Chainsaw Man? What is going on and all that? As then Ayu tells him he's gone apparently. Oh, obviously. As in Katana Man's like, what? What have you said? Say it again. As in Yu is immediately like, wait, did something get erased? As then she like touches her ear or where her ear was supposed to be at, and she's like, there is, and she realizes, and she has like a little smirk on her face. Oh, there is no ear anymore. So yeah, Chainsaw Man used his erasure ability to erase the ear devil, which, if we assume that all the other fiends are also like the five senses, the ear, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, or the taste, the feel for the skin and all that, yeah, we are in trouble in terms of communication and general awareness. So yeah, something's gonna have to happen really soon. Otherwise, soon not there's gonna be nothing. Which, funny enough, Yoro seems to not be that against. So like last chapter, she was kind of like shitting herself when she saw Chainsaw Man becoming Chainsaw Devil. Well, so, but no, she seems to be kind of, oh, it's time or something. I don't know if this is supposed to mean that she has a plan or something, thing or whatnot. But regardless, she seems to be very happy about what's going to happen very soon, by the looks of things. So she is currently not against the idea of not having ears. Which, to be fair, ears are overrated. Why do we even have them? Let's just have holes in our heads instead of having ears. Which, fine enough, I do think you are able to still hear without an ear. It's just that you can't. Like, I think isn't it? Yeah, it said that like it's just one something. It's just a little drum area that of your ear actually has to be a thing. Like all this is actually rather unnecessary, or all this just amplifies it or something. Well, again, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm confusing it with some other body part that's not all that necessary, but it's there. But regardless, ears are out, so now there's gonna be a bit of a communication problem, and we'll see how this is gonna be resolved. Especially since if the fear about the five senses and Denji about to well the devil. Chainsaw Devil preparing to eat them is true. We will have some issues about general layout. And to be fair, I guess we're finally gonna have the whole Chainsaw Devil vomiting out devils he ate. Since that was kind of like stare. I think in the first chapter that Yoro wants Chainsaw Devil to spit out nuclear weapons devil. So I guess we are finally going to have this be picked up again, since I don't think it has been referenced or addressed since the first chapter of part 2. So happy that we're finally addressing it. So yeah, anyways, that's the end of this chapter as well as this hour. So I hope you like this hour. I hope you leave your thoughts on the chapters I've read this week, and leave your thoughts on the chapters you've read this week. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you motos next time. Goodbye.